All right, thank you everybody for joining us today. I am really happy to introduce Sheron Patrick, who is our new marketplace manager with the Better Business Bureau in Alaska, but it's beyond Alaska, isn't it?
Well, my job specifically is Alaska,
Okay.
but I do have colleagues. We are Northwest and Pacific.
Awesome.
So that's
So may I just turn it over to you?
sure, absolutely.
Okay, go for it.
Well, hello everybody here in the room, and you guys in there. I don't know if you can see me or not, but as Catherine said, my name is Sheron Patrick. I'm the marketplace manager for all the Alaska region of the Better Business Bureau, but our region is Northwest and Pacific. So I'll move forward here.
Got my job.
It's okay, no worries. So I have to take this like 5 or 6 times. There we go. So the Better Business Bureau Northwest and Pacific right now currently is 7 states. It's Hawaii, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Montana, Idaho, and Western Wyoming. The marketplace manager, what I do basically is the public relations and business and community outreach for the BBB. So I am not only responsible for, just like I said, public relations and community outreach, but I go to businesses and present on scams or frauds. I do news interviews to let the news know in the community of what frauds are out there going on right now. So pretty much just public relations. And then the BBB's mission is to be a leader in advancing marketplace trust. We do that by promoting businesses that meet our standards of trust, and then informing the public of scams, fraud, and bad business practices. Like I said, going on to the news and talking about whatever scam might be the hot scam of the moment, because unfortunately they happen all the time. And then each BBB is 2 independent nonprofits. We're a 501c6 and a 501c3. We're not government affiliated. We were founded in 1912 in Atlanta by a group of businessmen that were interested in subscribing to a higher standards of ethics in advertising. And as the story goes, this group of businessmen took a whole bunch of paperwork to an attorney to have him look it over and say, hey, we look at this and make sure that all of the verbiage that we're saying is legal and the right thing to say. And the attorney took it and threw it back across the table because at the time it was businessmen that were involved in Coca-Cola. And back when Coca-Cola first started, it claimed that it would heal your cancer, it would heal your rash, you could drink it and your aches would go away. And so the lawyer was like, I'm not going to do any of this. And so that's when they said, we need to reevaluate what we're saying and what we're doing to the community and to the public. I believe it did. Probably did a lot of things. At least I think you were being healed. So how to identify scams and fraud? What is identity theft? So identity theft, keep going, sorry. Identity theft is the illegal use of someone else's personal information, as in a social security number, to obtain money or credit. For the National Crime Victimization Survey, there are 3 general types of incidents that occur. The first one being unauthorized use or attempted use of an existing account. Unauthorized use or attempted use of personal information to open a new account, or misuse of personal information for fraudulent purposes. Next slide. What are the different types of phishing? So there's 3 different types. What is phishing? Phishing is a scam in which an email user is duped into revealing personal or confidential information. Phishing, these targets your mobile phone, such as cloning an area code. These can also target landlines. And then smishing is a text message where the scammers send the information to you containing a link to a fraudulent website or phone number to get personal information. I'm sure all of us have stories of different types of phishing. Every single one of us probably has had the email for sure. I just recently got a text message, I'll read it to you, on the smishing one. Photos.
I don't think I've ever gotten one on text yet.
Really?
Yeah, I get tons of phone calls.
So this came from, it was a weird number. It was a 1-410-100-003. It was the phone number. So it wasn't the phone number because it didn't have all the digits. And the message itself said, FRM agent, MSG, semicolon, get paid to act like customer and evaluate store. If interested, request more details. Thank you.
I'll do it.
You'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, this is phone number, I'll text them back, and it's just one thing after another.
What would happen if you did text them back?
You know, I honestly don't know because who knows? There's just such a level plethora of different scams that are out there.
I mean, what potentially can happen?
Well, potentially
What
can happen. You know, they can get my phone information. Obviously, they already have my phone number. It's very easy to get a phone number. But when you create a dialogue with them, that is where you start to fall into the sinkhole of one thing that's happening after another. And so, you know, if you're getting those robocalls or text messages or emails, you don't want to respond to them at all. Don't indulge the scammers in luring you into whatever the scam they may be doing.
On a tactical end too, they can harvest all your contacts. So
right.
There's spiders that can roll through all your contacts if depending if it's Android or iPhone.
And then send stuff to those people.
It's exactly how, you know, now it used to be where the emailing was the really big thing. You click on something, all of a sudden it would get into your computer and take over all your contacts. And but now they can do it on a phone. And with a cell phone, you know, they are also able to clone your number nowadays. And it might be one digit off. You know, if I got a phone call from a blocked number, 99.9% of the time, I'm not going to answer it. I'm going to let it go to voicemail. They leave a message. I'll check it and call back later. I don't know who that is or what why they're calling, so I'm going to let it go to message. But scammers are so smart now, and they have the proper technology to be able to clone your number. And so, you know, my work number is 310-0730, I believe. And so they might call me from 907-310-0731. It's one digit off. And when I see a 907 number calling me, I'm going to be more apt to like, oh, hello, who's this? You know, yes. But my always advice is if you don't know the number, if it's a blocked number, let it go to voicemail.
It's a little easier on an open source phone. It's just programming. Because once you open that dialogue, then they have ways of kind of getting it. It's kind of like a handshake is what it is. So it opens up the path for the scammer to do whatever they need to do. Malicious code, either put code on your phone or take something from your phone, or so. And more so in email, like I said, like Yahoo is horrible because once you reply, then they get all their content.
Right. And right now, I remember I just a couple weeks ago went on and did a blurb for the news regarding Social Security scams and tax scams, but a big one was last year was the state troopers. People would, they would get on the phone and the scammers would call you and say, this is Trooper Patrick, right now we have a warrant out for your arrest if you do not go down and pay your back fines on this arrest warrant, and we're going to send someone to come and get you. A lot of times they'll use sheriff. They don't know Alaska, we don't have sheriffs. So like the sheriff is on his way to arrest you right now. So you know that's fake, but they will use, a lot of us put so much information out publicly. For instance, my Facebook is an open book. I don't keep it on a private setting. So anybody who's on Facebook could go onto my Facebook and see my friends that I have, see what, information, and they could use that against me if I let them. That's why they switched, I think, to the troopers instead of the sheriff, the county sheriff. Because I actually had that call a couple of years ago, and I said, well, what county are they sending it from? I think that you're a little wrong on your description there. So going into just what I was talking about, social media scams and identity theft. Social media scams are phishing links, clickbait scams, unfamiliar friend requests. Ways to combat social media scams is find information purchased elsewhere if you're not sure on where the information is coming from. Check your privacy security settings. Check in with your friends. Change your passwords often. Use password phrases. Checking with your friends. This has happened to a couple different friends of mine where they'll send out an email or a message saying, hey, if you get a friend request from me, it's not me. My account has been cloned. And what those people are doing is they try to go back in, and Catherine and I are friends, and all of a sudden I've created another, well, the scammer has created another account under me, and I friend request her again, but it's the scammer that's friend requesting her again. So that's why it says check with your friends and family, making sure, hey, did you just really make a whole other Facebook profile? Or the using password phrases is a really, really good one. You don't want to have the same password for everything. I have one password for my phone, I have one password for my bank account, I have one password to unlock my computer, one password for my email, and I know that can be very monotonous, but you can get certain apps that will keep your password safe and protected. But when it says use password phrases, you can say, I love my dog Rufus. That it's a much longer than just your date or the last four of your social, or because they can recognize keystrokes. There's programs that can go in and they recognize that I'm typing the same keystroke to get into everything. They get that password, and then they just start going to random Bank of America site or wherever else and seeing if that password will work. Of course, I think it's much more high tech than that. I am not a tech savvy person. So. All right, next slide. What can you do to combat identity theft is check your bank account activity. I just did this. I was on the other day going through my checking account, and Amazon charged me for something which we all believe that Amazon is 100% honest and faithful and true. And sure enough, it was a mischarge that, it was only $13. And I don't think that Amazon was trying to just scoop me out of my money, but the scammers, they'll do $10 at a time, $15 at a time. You're not going to notice that if you're just checking your balance. Oh yeah, I have $2,500 in my account, and now it's $2,490. You're not really going to think about that $10, but just be mindful of your bank account activity. Check your credit report within 3 reporting agencies: Equifax, Experian, or TransFusion. It is our right as U.S. citizens to get one free credit report a year. And I always suggest, you want to check that. Generally, I kind of do it at the beginning of the year when I file my PFT. That's just my habit of, okay, it's January, I check my credit report. Be careful with your personal information, i.e. your social security number, your date of birth, your address. Those are all really sensitive information. You should never, ever give that information over the phone call or over the phone unless you have initiated it. I sit on a couple different boards, and I have a credit card for one of the boards that I am on. And I got a call from North Brent Bank, and they said, are you at Nordstrom's trying to purchase $800 worth of goods and services? I wish I was, but no, I'm not. And they flagged it, one, because it was a big purchase, but two, because this is a nonprofit. Why are we spending $800 at Nordstrom's? And so she said, okay, well, let me, what is your information? And let me check. And I said, you know what, I'm going to call back to you guys and make sure that this is valid. I appreciate that I got the alert and that you guys are doing your job, but I'm not going to give that information to you over the phone. So I hung up, called back to North Park Bank, and got someone else and then gave them that information. That was invalid, but that's what you want to do for an example. Use strong passwords and phrases. Like I said, a phrase is much stronger than your birth date and the last four of your social. Always, too, it's good to have an uppercase, a lowercase, a number, and a widget from the top. Shred those documents, receipts, job applications that have your stable or stillable information on them. I did bring some magnets for you guys that will give you a time frame of when, at certain times, you should shred or get rid of certain documents. You can reference that, and it'll last for forever. How long you need to hold on to job applications or taxes. We do, and we don't have the date ironed out yet. It'll be sometime in the fall, probably September, October. But yes, and I'll be blasting that all over the news, so everybody will hopefully hear that.
Was it up to 300 pounds or 150?
I don't know the details. I am new in this position. I've only been here since December, so this will be my first shred event. I don't know exactly how much it is.
3 bags.
Yeah, 300 pounds is a lot.
Maybe that's what it's like.
Oh, maybe it's per person, like,
Yeah. You can
okay,
do hard rides and stuff too, up to the point.
yeah. All right, next slide. So I have listed here the top 10 scams reported to the BBB in 2018. The biggest one being employment scams online purchases at just under $4 million. The median cost per person was not too much, it was only about $80. But the big ones were employment scams at 3.2, just about, and those were $1,300 lost per person. Big one that we just did a big story on recently was that a gentleman was looking for a job. He found a job on Craigslist, got hired through this company, and what he was going to be doing was repackaging goods and services and mailing them out. Because this company was going to send him a check to cash, repack the goods and services, individuals go and buy them and repack them and mail them out. And he got the first check, it cleared, he bought all the electronics that he was supposed to, mailed them out and sent it. And then the next one, when they told him, I think they gave him a $2,000 check and they said 1,000 is for sales right now, but hold on to this next 1,000 for the next sale that we're going to have you do. And then they emailed him back and said, well, it's going to be $1,500 worth of products, but just go ahead and 500 of it come out of your pocket and we'll reimburse you with the next check. And he did that and ended up losing out on that money, that $500, and because he tried to call the company, about a week down the road, and they were gone. They had set up shop and done that to several different people and gotten their goods and services mailed, and they were out of there.
This is in the U.S. or Alaska?
These are U.S., not just Alaska, dear Lord.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. And then the third biggest one, like I did purchases and employment being the two that you got my numbers mixed up. The phishing one, that's the biggest at 6.3 million, and that's where they're emailing you looking for your information, calling you because they're the state trooper, trying to get you to send them either cash cards or gift cards or actual cash. Let's go to the next slide.
Claims that are there to help you resolve a technical problem.
That's a great question. My biggest thing that what I do now, since I didn't do this before working for the BBB, but now anything that I'm going to go purchase that is not what I have already purchased in the past and have a history of purchasing, I look them up on the BBB and make sure that they are a credible company. We have an entire team that goes to make sure that a company says who they say they are, an investigative team. We have an investigative team. That companies that say who they say they are, they're going to do what they say they're going to do, make sure that there's no, right now, current complaints against them. So look them up. And that goes into this slide right here. The puppies or cats, any type of, around Christmas is a really, really big one, or Valentine's Day, you want to get a brand new Bichon Frise for your partner or your daughter or whatever the case may be for Christmas, and you look up and you find these purebred puppies for $200, $300. That's generally your first red flag. Want to look them up on BBB. The sunglasses, that's a fake Facebook ad. The truck transport company was let's say you want to get your car from here to Seattle, and you would pay them to get it on the truck, and they would say, great, we'll call you, or it'll be in Seattle in 5 days, or someone goes there to pick it up. But anyway, in between here in Seattle, the truck disappeared. So you just always want to look BBB, use the BBB.org to look people up. Next slide. So phishing emails, they are really, really, really good at making it look like it's coming from, for this example, Discover. They have professional graphic people that can create exactly what something would look like coming from Discover. But you want to use a little bit of your investigative resources yourself. If Discover was sending you something as a credit card statement saying your card information is outdated, please click this link to, we'll send you a new card, or whatever the case may be, like look at the email address. At the very top, it says, no support at wilson989484.serverdata.net. If that was truly coming from Discover, that would not be their email address. Same thing, it's really hard even for me to see this Squarespace one, the second one over. That was from Squarespace at jasonwill.serverdata.net. Once again, you want to go in and you want to create or make that contact yourself. If you feel, one, my Discover card is not out of information, why are they even sending me this? Don't click on anything, pick up the phone and call Discover. Say, hey, I got this email. Is this true? Or American Express or Visa, Alaska Airlines card. Yes.
One of the biggest things too when you're entering personal information on a bank site or Discover is you always look up at the address field or a field for that little lock.
Right.
So it's SSL encrypted, because if that lock isn't there, then it's unencrypted. Anything, your credit card information, passwords to your bank account, like you Discover, you log into Discover, you're giving them your username and your password, but if that little lock isn't up there, then they're sending that information in clear text, non-encrypted, and they can go on the air.
Right. One of the slides coming up, I'll show you where that's at.
What about HTTPS? Is that the same thing?
As long as it has the lock.
The S denotes secure, so you do want to see the S. If it's just HTTP, it is not a secure connection.
But you're saying it has to have the S and the lock.
Well, the S, if there's an S and there's no lock, then something's wrong. What you can do is you can click that lock, and that will take you to the VeriSign certificate. It's the trusted certificate, and if that certificate is outdated, then they're possibly doing a mock page that somehow, and this happens in the pop-up windows. If you click a link and it opens up a pop-up window, there's a good chance that that's a clone page that has a picture of the lock. But when you click on the lock, it doesn't open the certificate. So there's all these little tricks and scams that you can do. So.
Oh, another one is click here. I have no idea what the link to.
Right. Next slide. So this is just a couple more examples of scammers using different companies and their logos to create a fake email, fake message. Like this one from Cube Survey. Congratulations, here's your first assignment. And your first assignment check has been posted to you via U.S. priority mail. When received, kindly complete your mystery shopping assignment as stated below. That probably might have been one of the same kind of deals in that text message that I received. So this was what this gentleman was saying. What does the HTTPS at the beginning of the URL denote, as opposed to without the S? And it is number B. The information entered into the site is encrypted.
You say click on the catalog.
I do, if it's a bank. Kind of where I do that is if I haven't bookmarked, say, my Wells Fargo bank account, and I just go to Google and say Wells Fargo, and it gives you Wells Fargo online. Because your hit will have 5 or 6 different ones. So I typically click the one, and then they all look alike, but I'll typically click the Wells Fargo logo, and then make sure that it's kind of at their home page. And I know what it looks like. A lot of times they have different iterations of where you can log in online, or mobile versus computer. So yeah, I'll look for that lock and click that lock the very first time. I've come to have a bookmark, so I know now that it's the same site I go to. But if it's I either lose that bookmark or I'm using a different browser, then yeah, I've heard more stories.
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't mention the lock though, this only mentions the S.
Right, well, S is the security. It doesn't, I don't have a slide. I'll try to get a slide put in here for next time, that you'll see the little lock up in the toolbar. It'll have a lock, and then it'll say HTTPS, and then whatever your web address
But if
is.
it says HTTPS without a lock, then something's wrong.
Most likely.
Or we don't know.
But you wouldn't see the little padlock unless you were trying to order something or buy something or something like that, right?
Enter information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
enter some
enter
kind of
information.
information. So you wouldn't just see it if you go to their website, but if you took it to that next level
Right,
and tried to sign in or something, I don't know. I'm thinking.
right.
Okay.
That should be how it is supposed to work. Next slide is the story of Mr. Q. This is pretty much a story that we've all heard before. This happened to a gentleman in Washington. He got a call from this hospital in Africa that he had a cousin that had died, and of course was going to leave him a lot of money. However, because he got sick in Africa, he had to pay the hospital bill, and they wouldn't release the money until he paid the hospital bill. This gentleman ended up mortgaging off of his wife. Well, his wife had passed, but he sold off her car, and then attempted to sell off his truck before his family intervened. And I don't remember the dollar amount, but it was somewhere around $15,000. This guy paid to these people in Africa for this hospital bill to win this money that, of course, was not real. You'd think that they would get better stories, but they still, unfortunately, are duping people with these stories, and I saddened me to hear every single day, just locally, the girls in the office here will on the phone, and they're like, no, Publishers Clearinghouse is never going to ask you for money in order to win money. The Social Security Administration does not have a warrant out for your arrest, and like people call because they are still believing these scammers.
So at least they're calling.
Yeah.
I've
That's
had a
true.
couple of people call here
Yeah.
asking if we had heard anything, and or to let other elder communities know. So I'm kind of glad you are here and just said that, because then if I do get anybody, I'll pass along
Yeah.
BBB's.
Social Security Administration, IRS. I'm never going to call you. They're not going to call you.
They don't
We can
answer
hardly
the
call
phone.
them.
I had a couple of those just this last couple of weeks, and my phone transcribes the voice message for me. So it'll just say, this is the IRS, a warrant has been issued for you, and
Yeah.
we're going to start seizing your bank account, garnishing your paycheck if you don't call us immediately. Thank God, that's fine.
Before I worked for the BBB, I got a call that I had just won a brand new Mercedes.
I got that one too.
Yeah, and
And it wasn't true?
I wish it was, but the guy, and I knew that it was a fake call, and so of course I hooked, line, and sinkered him as much as he was trying to hook, line, and sinker me.
It was great fun. It was
Oh,
at work,
it's so
and they
much
were
fun.
laughing at me.
Yeah, and then he got so irate because I was, same thing. Well, which county? Because we don't have a county, and he was trying to tell me where to go, and
He
cussed
got
me
mad.
out.
Well, he got mad at me and says, if you're just going to play games with me, I'm going to take the Mercedes and give it to someone else. Yeah, I hate for that to happen, but But then he said he was going to come to my house that evening, and then I got a little nervous. I thought,
Yeah.
okay, but, I called my husband and told him what I did, and don't answer the door.
Right. Have any of you guys ever had the stories like I said, Mr. Q, or personally?
Actually, it's funny. I just got a text this morning. I get random texts not often. People, a lot of times go, I get them all the time. I very rarely get them. But just today, I got, hello, Dr. Tanner. Whatever my first clue is. My name is Carol, and I'm a veterinary recruiter. I was wondering if you would be open to hearing about a veterinary position, blah, 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 blah. And then further down says, I'm also looking to hire a medical director. Anyway, so
Wow.
I was at first, I was like, for Tanner, that actually sounds pretty good. But I do have a question. I mean, obviously, I'm going to delete it after this. But I can, one, report spam. Right here, it gives me a choice. I can delete or report spam. But I also, on email, you can report spam, at least through Gmail or any of those. And I've often wondered, or you can unsubscribe, right?
Don't unsubscribe.
Right, but
They
then
know
you
you're a live wire.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say is, it's hard not to do that because then I still have gazillion emails. It doesn't help me to still continue to send. But anyway, I just thought it was just.
So what happens when you do report spam? Well, who-
Right, that's
who
what
are
I
you
was gonna
reporting
ask
to?
is who am I reporting?
Yeah.
Well, if you go to the next slide,
Oh. That's what it's like.
Right on
Thank
cue.
you.
so you can report scam to us at the BBB. So you go to bbb.org/scam tracker. And this will, one, you can look up any spam or fraud or anything that is happening in our area, but you can also report it in our area. And so you would go in and give them probably the phone number that came from and the message, and we would document it. We are not, like I said, we are not we're not the police. We can't go and arrest that person who sends you that scam, or we have no enforcement capabilities whatsoever. We are here as a information to give to people as much as we can. Information. So this is great to report a scam or to look if you want to look and see if anything's happened specifically.
Yeah, that sounds like some good Facebook material.
I put my Mercedes on the scam tracker.
Oh,
Did you
good.
really?
I did.
Right on.
For checking businesses on the BBB, do they have to be a member of the BBB to help? Okay.
Now, if they're brand new, we may not have a record of them yet. But most businesses that are anywhere within a year or more will have a record of them. And so you can call, well, the scam tracker will look and see for frauds and areas that you have in your area. But if you wanted to check a specific business, you wanted to go to ABC Carpet Cleaning, and before you bring them into your house, you want to make sure that they honor what they do and that their customer reviews are right, then you could call or go online and look and see. The scam tracker is more for frauds than scams. And that is the end of my presentation.
Hey, folks online, go ahead and unmute your microphones, and if you have any questions, when you hear a moment of silence, go ahead and jump right in.
Something I was going to say back when you were talking about the reporting or the agencies, the free agencies, TransUnion, and those is you can also put up. There's locks and freezes and all those kind of things, and I forget which one's which, but you can. People probably here already know that, but you can put freezes. If you're somebody who doesn't need your credit used for anything, you can put a freeze or a lock. I forget which it is. We did it on all three of them, and so that people can't open things in your name.
Okay.
Now it's a pain if you want to go. Like my husband had to get a place to stay in where he's working in Nashville. We had to unfreeze it for 2 days so they could check his credit report and freeze it again, kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, to me, that's one big step to keep people from opening. Doesn't mean they don't have some of your information, but they can't open accounts in your name, theoretically, I guess.
Right.
If you do that on those three, whatever. And yours sounds like, to me, I mean, it may be a scam, but it also sounds almost like somebody got the wrong
Identity.
number. Sounds like they sent it to the wrong email address. It doesn't really, I mean, and that's the thing, respond or don't respond, but that, to me, that doesn't
But they had her
necessarily
name,
sound
This
though.
was a text.
Yeah, they had her name as Tanner.
Oh, you are Tanner.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
she is
that.
Dr. Dad.
Oh, I
don't know
didn't
if
know
she
you
is
were.
Tanner.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know you were. So, they used the right name.
But that was what was
I didn't
weird.
catch that part.
Yeah, and it was a text, and it did have my last name.
Oh, I see. I didn't get
But
Which
you're
is the
not a
first
doctor,
time.
right?
Well, maybe now. No, I'm not a doctor. But that is something, that is the most personal anything that I've done.
Right.
Other than like an email, they'll put, usually they want a name. Anyway, that was just weird.
I really like PayPal. I kind of have two things in place. Often if they don't allow PayPal, then I don't purchase. But I have a credit union one, so I have a credit union one credit card that I have a $500 credit limit on. They keep wanting to send me, oh, we've just updated it, and I keep going, oh, I want it back down to $500. And I use that credit card specifically. Now, if it's at Alaska Airlines and I'm booking their flight, then I'll use my Alaska Airlines credit card.
Right.
but I specifically use that credit, and it's been compromised 3 times.
Wow.
And so I buy, bought holsters, I bought, different things that are kind of mom and pop oriented, but so it questions whether that small business has a secure site that they're going through. Now I go through all my steps to kind of hope that I'm on a secure site, but I'm still giving it my credit card. I get the product. The PayPal, I've had several, they go to bat for you. So if you question it at all, PayPal immediately refunds your money, and then they do the arbitration and all that for you. I've done some eBay stuff where I've collected over outlet and stuff. That's the biggest scam. Is, eBay, Craigslist, all this.
Yeah. You always, if you're purchasing anything that is not right in front of you, want to use a credit card or a debit card with a Visa, MasterCard single moment, because that can be tracked and that can be refunded through your bank. Whereas if you're ordering something and you send them a money order, cash, iPhone music card, COD, that is gone. Once it leaves your possession, it's gone, and there's no way to get that money back. And that's why scammers, 99% of the time, they want you to go to Walmart and pick us up 15 iPhone, $10 music iTunes cards, because once you mail those out to them to get your $1 million sent to you, then those are gone, and there's no way for them to be tracked and reversed.
So I've been hearing lately that it's better to use your credit card than your debit card. The limits of liability are different or something. Can you talk about that?
That would be a banking question. I don't know that.
Because I don't like using credit cards. I like using my check card because it gets paid for, and I don't have a credit card line. But I'm just wondering, is it less
I use
secure?
my debit card for everything because now they have those chips on it,
Yeah,
and
I've got a chip, and it's a MasterCard.
right.
But
It's supposed to be very, very safe. A different banking company that here in town than what I'm currently using. I remember I shopped at Target a couple of years ago when Target had their big breach. I just automatically got a new card in the mail, which flagged the red crap out of me. I was like, why am I getting, who sent me a new card and why? But I was able to call that institution, and they said Target had some data breach, and we were just covering our bases. I was very appreciative at the time.
Alaska changes ours about once a year. We have 4 of their cards, but they change. I mean, there's always breaches on that for whatever.
Is it Capital One? I've heard.
No, that's Airlines is bank.
Oh.
That's Airlines.
Maybe federal, maybe federal.
yeah, I haven't had one of those in years, so I don't think. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a pain because all your auto pays you have to change.
Yeah, it really is.
But
But you rack up those miles and you get
I don't
those
even do that
companion tickets.
anymore.
That's all
I
about
know.
that, man.
I've been getting lately, your receipt for your purchases attached. We're going to be charging you now $49.95. Might be iTunes Store or something like that. And if this was not your purchase, click here.
Yeah.
So you're tempted, so I didn't like it like that. And particularly
Yeah, you shouldn't have to be afraid of everything, right?
older people can sometimes get, they don't realize the computer says you cannot.
Right.
They try to correct it, and they just fall right.
Right. And that is why I'm here with you, so that you can pass that information on to them. It's all about information. We try to get out as much as we can. But I know it might be the biggest advice that I would give you on that point is if you have something saying that you spent $49.99 and your receipt click here, well, I would either go to my bank account or my credit card statement first and see was that
Back
right
to the
there.
Apple Store.
Yeah.
My password. Or no recent purchases.
Right.
I get one of those every month for 99 cents for my cloud storage or whatever from Apple. I'm like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
I need to cancel, but yeah, I did it.
Any other questions or?
Well, another thing, sometimes window pop up. And you don't want to do anything with it, you just want to delete it, so you cut your office, delete. A lot of times you won't delete. Or if you hit delete, you're actually.
And that little X, is that safe to get the little X?
Generally, the X is how you get out of a pop-up.
Right.
Because the rest of the pop-up, even though it says delete right here, anywhere you click on it, is the button. But
Sometimes that whole window goes.
I was going to
Best
share
way is to do
a story about that.
Control Alt Delete.
Yeah, it's best to just quit your browser altogether, because if you, like say, if you click the X, or they have that as the tab to actually take you to the site or something, then you'll get more windows or more pop-ups, and it's just best to quit your browser. I had a friend that was taken for $700 through that, but it was your computer's affected by the virus, and we asked about the tech support thing, where there'll be a banner that pops up, says, we determined your computer is affected by a virus, click here for tech support. Immediately goes to a chat session where they say, thank you for contacting us. We're going to help you with this. So they open up a web session. Which,
Per minute?
Well, it's like if GCI were helping you set up your email, you could, they could do a web session to walk through all those settings with you, where they take control. When you're talking to, an actual web developer, somebody at GCI or AT&T, and you can trust them, it's one thing, but to just arbitrarily click this button and trust that web session, you're opening yourself up. And so what they did on the PC, they took control of her computer, and then she had to send money in. There were two different payments of $350, and she fell on it. Never did regain control of her computer. She had to take it in and have it, lady wiped and everything. But she could have avoided that whole thing by just simply quitting the browser, because once she did that, then it opened up this screen that portal took control. And so just quitting the browser and just restarting could have saved her that whole.
Scary. So you click the window up and down the right.
No, he's saying I didn't do that.
Control Alt Delete or
Some of these won't let you, like,
Are you familiar
Well,
with the task
if you
manager?
close out the entire window, yeah, like your toolbar, like shut down the whole, like you're exiting out of the internet. That's what you'd want to do. Go out of it and then click on your Yahoo or Gmail or
They're
Google
saying
Chrome
Control
or
Alt Delete too, pushing those three at the same. Control Alt Delete. So
Command Q on that. I recorded the tech call that I got. I'd be happy to share it with Scott Campbell, because, like you say, you kind of bait him on and keep him going. And
Yeah.
it's funny. But boy, did he get irate. He started calling me everything in the book.
Yeah.
It got pretty ugly.
Yeah.
But,
Like mine.
Me
you
too.
gotta kind of waste their time as much as they're trying
Right.
to waste yours, Yeah.
Yeah, I was having too much fun at work, and I was like, I had him on the line forever, and then he would call back. But then I think he got my voicemail and figured out I wasn't who I'd been saying I was. And so he never called back again. Like, dang. It was a lot of fun. And I just kept giving him false information.
Yeah.
What is your annual income? Blah, blah, blah. What is your name and your address? And I just lied through my teeth.
Yeah.
But he stayed on the line. It was just entertainment. So, all right, anyone online? If not, I'm going to let you guys go. Looks like everyone's still muted, so I'm going to end the recording at this point. I'm not sure if you can hear the comments anyway, but hang on. You're welcome to stay online if you want, but I'm going to stop the recording right now.